Hello, welcome. My name is Manuel from Kata Studios. Today we're going to be quickly reviewing 10 student concept projects from the month of July. So these are our students who are actually on our course, our web design course. And by the way, if you want to join that course, you can check the link in the description of this video to get more details about that. So now we are going to be starting with the last submission. This is the first submission, and I think this looks very cool, but we're going to be coming to this, and there are more other cool content over here. So these are the 10 projects as we can quickly glance through all of them, and we'll be starting with the first one. Now we'll be touching on the good, the bad, and the ugly of these projects. And we are going to be also pointing out how to make these particular stuffs come alive, how to make things better in these websites projects. So first off, we have the header here with the logo with a particular size, which the hero section supersedes. Now, I want to point this out very clear for everyone watching this. Make sure that your header is the widest section in your website. Nothing should supersede the header. If the header is 1350 pixel by width or 90% per width, everything would be within that particular width or less than that width. It shouldn't be more than that width. So make sure that the width you use in the header is the same width you use for every section. If possible, you can write that down and make sure that the width left and right, no content supersedes that. There are cases where you might have content supersede it. In cases where you have an image by the right, which is full width covering everywhere, that's no problem because it's a full width image. But in other cases, there is no necessity. There is no need for content to overlap the area like this. That's number one. Number two thing you need to fix here is the content here at the left. There is no need for this content to be at the left when there is no balancing element by the right. So look at an instance as we have from here. We have content by the left. If we leave here open and empty, it doesn't make much sense. So we also have to balance it up with content, filling out content from this particular area. We could even put this content at the bottom part here, but just pull it at the right side to keep a little bit of balance between that particular element. I hope you understand that. So make sure if you are putting element by the right, there should be a complement by the left. If not, center align this and increase the thickness, the boldness. And again, I think the boldness of your heading text should be a little more wider than as it currently is. And the body text should be at least 2 lines. And the heading should be smaller than it is. Let me see if we can find a heading that is smaller than that. So look very closely here. You see this heading, see how small it is. You can take an example from this website. It's called thebodyng.shop. This website I built for my clients. The last website I just concluded, e-commerce website, actually I just concluded for my clients. So you can check that out to take corrections from there. Scrolling down, we get to this section. The background, everything is closely okay here. Shop now and all of that. I think I don't like this background here, the blue background, but it's still okay if it falls in with the brand color. Brand color is red. I wonder why you're using black here. So there's no consistency in your color. You need to also work on that. That actually fixes that area. I can just give a little bit of border radius around this and it will work perfectly well. Coming to the video section, I think you should have a content here explaining what these guys are doing. I just don't understand what they are doing right now. I know this is a musical equipment store, but then we should actually understand the story behind the music they are playing and what they're actually doing. What is this guy doing? Explain like this guy over here. I don't understand what he's actually doing. And this guy is not even singing, and just let us know what this is actually about. So if you come to a video section, you see something like that over here. See where we have something, a woman cremating herself, and then we see a different description about what this is about, ready to make your skin different, and a little bit of description, then a call to action button which lead them toward purchase. But this is totally empty, and I think there should be a field. You can put it in left align. I have other sample I can show you for now, but then you understand what I'm actually talking about here. Then the next one over here, I think the height of every of your content should be the same. If you're using a height, see how to do this. It's very simple. Go over to my YouTube channel, check on the video on images for websites. I think that video should be here. Let me scroll down and find that video very quickly for you. Okay. I think I made that video not quite long ago. I think, let's scroll up. Okay, so scroll down, you're going to find that particular video. It's about images, okay? I talked about images and what sizes you should use, but for the straight point, what you need to do is what? Make sure the size of each image is equal to the rest. And to do this is very simple. So let me show you an example of that because I like to do that. So for instance, we imported this image. We want to use this image, this lady's image. Okay, let's drag in this one. So we want to use this image and we say, okay, we want this to be square. Okay, we want this to be square. We click on the square ratio and we select this and make it square. Okay, we're perfect. We want to use this as one of the products. Now make sure that the next image you are dragging in will be within that square. Just watch what happens. We save this first one, we drag in the second one, make sure you extend it till it matches the width. Okay, and we save. Now going back to your work, let's click option and we save this image. I want to show you something very quickly. Okay, so once we save this image, since it is a white background, look at what we're going to do. This image over here, this image, let's just assume it's a white background. So let's just set it to the white background. What we need to do is to drag in that image, because this image, you don't just download PNG and just set them like that. When you drag it in, make sure you select on it and make sure it stays in the center like this. Okay, stays in center like this. When you download the second one, for instance, this one that is taller, we click on save image and we save the image. Then we save this one and we delete. We come back, we push in the second one. You reduce the size also to match the width and put it in the center and save it. Once you upload this, your layout will look very clean and simple. There won't be all of this jumping stuff over here. Then you can give a little bit of curved in the edges, a little bit of curve, and that will fix the problem. Apply this style I just gave you now in all of your images and amend this place. Apart from that, everything from there is okay. Everything here is close to okay. Okay, and this is also okay. I think I like this, and this is fair enough for what we have from here. This is fair, very fair enough. So these are the corrections you need to make from this website. Make the correction, then send back to the group. The next one is opened, and I think this is nice, but then the image is too slim for a hero section. So this image should be a little bit wider and use a little bit of higher resolution image. I like higher resolution images. Okay, and the width here is too small. It's too crushed. So I think you should expand it a little more, like 80% width or 1,350 pixels. That would be nice. Then make the image, there should be enough padding at the bottom part and enough padding at the top parts, not just keep everything like that. Then scrolling down, this is center line. This image curved is too much. The image curves you are using here is too much. The border radius is too much. Make sure you give a little not padding bottom and padding top here. Make the image just be square in the middle. Square images for hero sections like this, or you make it full width to all of this area, to the right side, full width. Let me open a website while I made for my web clients also. While it loads, let's also observe the rest of things. Then I'm going to show you how the hero section, how I want you to make the hero section. So scrolling down, we get this particular part. Everything is okay, just that I want this particular section content to be just 2 lines, and that's okay. The space between here is too small, so expand the space a little. There should be enough space between this. If possible, you can just guide this particular container with another box. Just give it a line to put that unity between these 2 elements. Now look at what I'm talking about, okay? So you see this part in the hero section, you can make this part like this, just push everything to the left and then make the full image. That makes a lot of sense. You know, images tell a lot of story, and that is what you need to do here, not just crashing the image to this particular size and it doesn't make sense. And use a high resolution image, as you can see what we are doing right from here. Let me keep this as a second instance and let's flow. Next, the border radius you are using here is too much. So reduce the border radius. The padding top and padding bottom is fair enough, but I think you can increase that to about 125 to 130 pixel top and bottom. That will be nice enough. The inner space, everything is okay from here, like there. Image you are using here is very poor resolution. And the text you are using here should be center aligned. And the image here should have an overlay, dark overlay, that you can reduce the opacity a little more. A dark overlay that the opacity can be reduced a little more, like this one now, you see? A dark overlay, opacity reduced a little more. So that's what you're going to do from here. Now, scrolling down, this part is also, I hate your font, okay? I hate it. Just use poppins. This font is very ugly. Use poppins for your font. Observe your font. The font you use here is in your logo is totally different from the font you are using here. There's no consistency in your work. So change all the font you are using to poppins. Your font you are using here is very, very ugly. Okay, stop using ugly fonts. Learn to use what? Nice fonts. Search for font. There are many fonts you can pick there. Don't just drop a text and then style it. Choose nice font. That's what makes your work look nice. Don't use ugly fonts again. Modify all your fonts, all your heading. I noticed that in all of this. That's why your work look a little bit unkept. You just unkept. Just use very nice fonts on your design. Make those changes and then send back your link to the group for final revision. And stop using lorem ipsum. If you use this again, I'll cancel your project and you will not actually follow up in this particular review. Make sure you don't use lorem ipsum for my submitting work to me again. Do not use lorem ipsum. I hate this. I hate someone who is not prepared. I hate when you are not prepared when you are doing anything you are doing. Whatever you are doing, put time into it. Okay? Put time and attention into it. Write it carefully. Write down things carefully. Okay? Don't just write anything you like. No, write down story. Tell the story. Let it be like a real website, because you're gonna make mock-up for this and present it in the public. Is it lorem ipsum people are gonna be seeing? That doesn't make any sense. Make those changes and also submit your work. The next, music-wise, our job is to get a song. I don't think this is necessary. The white color should work for even this one. Okay, and the space between these two is too much. The heading here is too far from where it's supposed to be. I wonder why your heading is running too far. Look at the heading as we use from here. You see the heading, you see the area it covers, so make that changes to your own too in the heading. And the body text should shift a little from the heading. And I don't like this. The hero section should be a little bit wide, higher than this. It's too short. Make it higher than this. Remove all of these things from here. It's enough to have YouTube, TikTok, and Spotify. Remove all of these things from here. Then add a button, okay, a call to action button to either lead them to contact or to purchase one of the services they provide. These sections are okay, but then I don't like this text. They are too far from each other. There is no, I can't feel anything in this particular area. It's not feeling it at all. So make sure you make changes to this particular part. These buttons here, make it look like these buttons in this particular image to make more sense that way. And this part, there should be an image that will tell a story here. So apply an image here. A button here this should be a button, not a text button. A real button, a primary button that have a color, background color, just like what we have from here. Okay, there should be an image telling the stories of Spotify, YouTube, and all of these things. And you know that this color is not going to work on white color. So remove it and replace it with black. And then adjust this thing. The space between this text are too poor. Go back in my YouTube channel and watch the last tutorial I made. You will see how I adjusted text and actually learn from that. Don't just watch tutorial and you don't understand what is going on. Watch tutorial and learn from it. Your typography is very bad. In the website, your typography messed up this website totally. Okay? Your typography messed it up. This is my blunt review, raw review. This is very messed up. I can't even tell which one is the header, which one is the body text. There should be a difference between the height of this. There's no hierarchy. Reduce the text of this to actually make more sense. Okay? Then scrolling down, this is our theme area. I think I like this area. Just curve it a little more. And then this part is also okay. You know, this color works well on black background as it is small. But if it's too wide, it's not good. It's not cool. Okay? The parts are okay. The color you use here, gray you use here, is too much. The gray color is too much. I think we should switch this color to white, and the text should be black, and then the button here should be black. On hover, it can be green. Everything in between here is okay for the starts. Okay, so make those changes and then forward your link back to the group. The next is harmony furnishings. Okay, now we have menus up here. I like the way you did your header. I love the header color also. It blends well with the color we have from here. But I would suggest you use a black color overlay, not green on this. Okay, black color overlay, then the color can be green. I don't like your effect of your button. So your button shouldn't change the width or the height or the shape. No, the button transition should change in color only. Shouldn't change in the height. Don't expand or reduce the size of button. It doesn't make much sense. It makes people find it difficult, clicking on the button. So don't do that. Remove that effect. Just change the effect on color hover, and I think that is perfectly okay. This thing is okay, even though there is no content complementing it here. It's fairly okay as it is left aligned because these tufts are close to this edge and everything is fair enough. I think I like it that way. This part also learn more and it's fairly okay. Right align this thing. Since this one is left aligned from here, make sure this one is right aligned. So it should be coming from the right hand side, not from the left hand side as this. I like that section. So scrolling down this section, add a little bit of thickness to this. I think that's fair enough. And your typography here is very poor. So watch the typography you're going to follow. Go back, inspect the typography we used here. Inspect the typography here. I have taught you how to inspect text. So inspect it. If you don't know, ask your peer member to teach you how to inspect text so I can know the height and the width of a text we used. So you go back, inspect the text, use your text typography here. And the height of the text here is too far from each other. Adjust that. That's number 2. Number 3, you are using a justify text here. Don't use justify for me. You should use left align here. Do not use justify in your web design project. Do not use justify for text. Okay, use either left align, center align, or right align. Forget about justify. It's for newspaper or newspaper website or blog website. So this is also, I love this, the fact that this actually changes. I don't know what is going on here. Everything is changing on their own. Okay, this is actually, I love this. You did very well here. Why is this one not changing? You did fairly well here. I love the work here. The text color here should be white, not gray. Gray doesn't match with the color in the background here. Or just make it a lighter green. That's fair enough. Lighter green is fair enough. Okay? And I don't see consistency in your text. Your heading text here is Poppins. Your heading text here is Fair Play. How can you be using Fair Play here for heading text, then Poppins for heading text? There's no consistency. Make sure heading text you are using, all of them are the same thing. So make those adjustments, apply to this one. This one should break into 2 lines, not 1 line. It is not nice. And everything should be center aligned here. I like the color you use here. You must not use black here. Fair enough. That green works well there. Also consider whether you are choosing with heading text for Poppins or heading text for this other one. Then adjust your text typography here. It's too fat, it's too big. And make the adjustment for there. The same applies to this. I like this particular part. Everything here is fair enough. I think you just hang on with Poppins for your heading text. And body text also can be Poppins. That's fair enough. And this particular part looks nice. Also, you shouldn't use a button for your footer menu. Just write the footer menus is fair enough. But then it's still conceptic. I like the nice concept there. Let it just be something different. But then your icons, I can't even click on them. So make sure you adjust your icons. Make sure everything works well from here. So going to the next one. This one is organic skincare products. Starts here. That's fair enough. Hovering on this, the transition is too much. Just make transition white color will be fair enough. And let's scroll down. Okay. So this part, I think I have a problem here. The width is too wide. So cluster this a little more. And this text over here should be left aligned, not center aligned, because this is not center. This is actually left. So left align the text typography here. And all of this content here can be left aligned or right aligned or center aligned is fair enough. And this particular content here should be center aligned. Center aligned is fair enough. Okay. Scrolling down here, I like this particular part. Fair enough. This text must be 2 lines, not 3 lines. Must be 2 lines. Remove the button here. It's not necessary. Just put the text typography here and curve this one so that people will misunderstand it to be a button. So whatever, if you are using this style in your heading, make sure it doesn't match with the button style. Okay, as you can see, we are using it here. We curve the edges rounded. The bottom side, we didn't curve it rounded. This is actually curved at the edges. It's not too rounded as it should be. So make sure you make those changes to that particular one. And we are good to go for there. So this one over here, I think is not necessary. This button is not necessary. Testimonial is okay from here. Just make sure the width of your content is within 90% and 85%. It being 98% doesn't make any sense. I don't see the reason why you are doing that. And if you must make content to the width, full width, make sure the edges is not curved, so it will match. The block style, make sure this button is beneath this and this is centered. There's no need putting this button here. This is a rubbish style. Doesn't make any sense. So even here, I think this is fair enough. Nice menu. Fine. So make those changes and then export back. Here we have, they are open now. The eye will close, they are open now. I think I like this. The background is not very nice for me. The background, can use the black over here. Must not be color of the brand. The black over here. This effect here is not nice. Remove the effect, it's not necessary. Okay. The button effect, also remove it. Since you have applied a color effect, no need of applying a hover expand effect. The heading text here is fair enough. The heading text also here should be reduced a little more. The background here, change it to black. Change that to black so it can match very, very well. Just as we are using in the header here. See these edges here, black. It makes more sense if it is black. Scrolling down, I don't really like this part. The color here is too, you don't use very sharp color on backgrounds. Okay, use that color or just change this to white color. Then you can use the orange color on each and every one of this. The color of the button is ugly. So make the color, either make it just pure black. And I don't like the hover effect here. It's not necessary. Just remove every hover effect from there. Come here, I love this particular part. This part looks very nice. I love this part. Look very nice. Even though it have a hover, I love it. Look very nice. Even though it doesn't have any call to action, I love the fact the way they use the gradient here is very nice. Don't put the hover here. It's not necessary now because somebody needs to click on this. Anything people need to interact with, don't add hover on it. Buttons, forms, sections, don't add those hover effects. They are not necessary. Okay? Yeah, I think the color should be white because the color of the background is dark. So use the color here, white. The button here, the icon is too large. Why are you pointing it to the top? Is it where people need to click to read more? What's the meaning of this? So make this just a simple button. Remove all of these things. Make it a simple buttons and we are good to go. Everything here is fair enough. I think it's nice also. Even the hover effect is nice because there is no interactivity here. It's nice enough. Testimonial, there is no need of expanding testimonial because this is a heading text, a major heading text. So no need of expanding that testimonial. Make those changes and we are good to go with that. The next one, I love this part, but I will not advise you to use more than 6 words in your hero section. 6 words at most. So minify your word and make sure they are 6 words. That's number one. Your body text, make sure it's within 2 lines and it shouldn't be too wide. Okay? Why will you have as much text as you have from here? Then you have only 3 words over here. It's not necessary. So cluster them and make sure that the words are justified. The one at the top and the one at the bottom is the same width. The color of your button should be this color which you are using overall in your website. So I suggest it becomes the color here, and on hover it's fair enough to be what it is right now. Your hero section should be as wide as 100% VH, not being too clustered like this, so that the beauty in your content should shine the more, not half of the screen or 70% of the screen. Our recent product is nice enough. Your buttons here are okay. Everything here in between are okay. I love this part for the start. This part is nice. The fact section should be smaller than this. The width should be clustered a little more than this, and the edges should be curved a little. Edges should be curved a little to give it that soft effect. Scrolling down here is fair enough. I think 1 image is enough. Just find 1 square image and plug in here. Remove the second one. It's not necessary having multiple images. It's distracting. So that is all for this one. Make those changes and submit. The next one, I like this very well, but the heading text should be just 2 lines. So 2 lines, then increase the size a little more. Okay? 2 lines and increase the size a little more, like we have from here. You see the size as we have from here. This is 3 lines because we have lesser space for the heading text. When you have more space for the heading text, do not do this. Just give it 2 lines. It's fair enough. Okay, but make sure anything you're doing, don't use more than 2 lines for your heading text. But then for this particular case, we have enough space by the left and right, so no need of clustering it like this. Make it 2 lines and increase the size a little more. Curve the edges of your button because this is a wedding website. Curve the edges so it won't look sharp at the edge. Looking sharp makes people feel like this is hot or harmful or something like that. So curve the edges and it will be nice enough. In this part, I want the image to be full width to the left, as we have in this particular one. Full width to the left, and that is what I want for that particular part. Full width to the left, and then justify your text. Your heading text, if it is one style you are using, this fair enough. Use just that style. Your buttons should be curved. Scroll down. Your buttons should be curved. Scroll down. This edge of this particular border radius should be a little more curved. It will make more sense. And make sure it is centered. This is not centered. As you can see, the bottom part is having more space. Make sure this is centered. Scrolling down, this edge should be curved, and the button should be curved also. Just curved a little for the menu. And I don't think this is center aligned. As you can see, our package is as if it is in the left. If this is actually centered, this image should also be in the center. So I think this particular area is taking more width than this particular area. So the issue here is that the image here is taking a padding left that is consuming more space here than this other one. So fix that quickly and make sure everything is centered before you proceed. I love this particular section. It's my best section. Just curve the area a little and give it enough padding top and padding bottom. Padding top shouldn't be less than 120 pixels. Padding bottom the same. The same applies to this. Use the same effect we use from here. Full width, apply full width, and that will make more sense. Curve the button, and the button here is too much. Use the button consistency now. You look at the button consistency, and there's no effect in this button. When I'm hovering, what makes me think that this is a button? There's no effect. So it doesn't make any sense. There's no effect in your buttons. No. And your button is too much. This button is too large. Just reduce the size of the button a little more. Okay, a little more. The button font, reduce the font a little more so that it's fair and nice enough. Increase the size of your icons. They are too small. Increase the size a little more increase the size a little more, and you are good to go. Make sure you make this width of this image full width here, so the beauty of this particular section will come out. Increase the size of this particular heading a little more to make more sense. Next, we have this particular section. I'm not a really good fan of blue, but if you think blue is fair enough for you, I think it's cool also. But remove the border radius here. I don't think it's necessary. Just make the color of that particular element white. On hover, then it can be blue on hover. Okay? And this particular part having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 content, make sure it is 2 lines. There is enough space left and right to contain that. Make it 2 lines. And scrolling down, this particular section is not necessary. Since we have a section here that have an overlay image, don't add that overlay again. And moreover, this is a section talking about the services. So make sure the services is in between here, just as we have from here. You see, this is the products. Make sure it is in between. There shouldn't be any distraction showing people a different thing when there is a different thing you are talking about. This is actually telling a different story, and this is a different story. Why will you use a different background for our service and then talking about the service in a different section? It doesn't make any sense. So put this into this particular area. The text should be black color, and then the section will make more sense that way. Remove this. It's not necessary. Okay, this text over here, remove it and put it, add it to the one at the top to increase the number of the text you have from there, if that's what you want. The button here is fair enough. I think it's okay. Scrolling down, who we are. I think who we are can join this particular text over here to be the heading text over here. It's not necessary there. It doesn't even make any alignment sense there. Just add the who we are over here. Just as you add our mission here, add who we are as bold as it is, then add the contents beneath it. Every other content can work. The background color here should be a little bit darker blue. I don't really like blue colors, but then a little bit darker blue. The stroke around this particular image should reduce the opacity. Don't just put a stroke of white and leave it. No, reduce the opacity. See the way I play around with my strokes. See the stroke of brown I added here. I reduce the opacity so it will be fair. It wouldn't be too harsh in the eyes. Look at the stroke of white I added here. It's very, very reduced. The opacity I reduced. All of these things have strokes. Everything here, almost everything here has strokes. Look at this. All of these have strokes, but I reduce the opacity very well, so people won't just notice what is going on. Don't just add a stroke and just leave it like that. No, watch from what I do. Watch from what I do and make corrections. And the image here is too long, longer than the content here. So adjust that image. I don't like it being that long, so reduce it a little more. Maybe use a square image to make more sense from there. Project the stroke. Also, we have a stroke issue here. So adjust that stroke issue. Everything here should be center aligned. Since the heading text center aligned, adjust that stroke issue. I don't like that stroke. Adjust the stroke, reduce the opacity so it will make more sense. Everything in between here is fair enough. Make those corrections and you can submit back your link. And finally, to the last one, I want to actually point out something very quickly. Somebody asked the last time if the last tutorial we made about scrolling effects, smooth scroll effect works on Oxygen Page Builder, because all of these websites we just reviewed now are Oxygen based websites, and this actually is used by Spatial Design, I think, currently WebEx, and he actually added that particular effect, and I think that is possible for Oxygen Page Builder. Apply it, just install the tool and go to your front end refresh. I think everything should be working perfectly well. So back to this particular project, I like the effect on the header. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. The button here, very nice. Except for the button, I don't like the stroke around it when I hover on it. So remove those strokes around this button when I hover on it. Add a little more padding top and padding bottom to the header. It will make more sense. Over here, I like what you did here. I saw what you did there. Like it. Contact us. The button should be pure blue, pure blue, pure blue. Let me show you the kind of blue I'm talking about. This blue that is here in the background. Okay? Make it pure blue as that. It will make more sense. Scrolling down, everything here is fair enough, fine. Let's scroll down to this part. It's fine also. I think this is a carousel. This is nice enough. Reduce the color of the opacity, or the opacity of the color we are using in the background. Reduce a little more, okay? And this one should be left aligned. Right aligned, sorry. As this is left aligned, this should be right aligned. That's one. And two, the button width is too much. Reduce the button width. If this is 100% button width, make the button width 60% or 70%. The same applies to this. So we don't have any need for those widths. Extra spacing we have from there. It's not necessary. Okay? So scrolling down, this part, everything should be center aligned. Pull everything here to the center. Pull everything here also to the center. Make all of the contents here center aligned. This particular part is fair enough to be left aligned like that. The button color here should also be the color of the background here. It's not the same color. Make it the same color so it will look as if it is a hole here and also a button. Scrolling down here, everything here should be center aligned also. Center align everything from here to be fair enough. And I think this is okay. The same logo color you should use in the header is the same logo color you should use in the footer. Don't use a different color in the header and use a different color in the footer. Use the same color you use for the header and for the footer. Increase the size of your icons here and we are good to go. I think that's all you need to know about this, and this is just it. If you actually make these effects, these corrections, it will be a starting point. At least these are not, I'm not trying to be too deep in reviewing or scrutinizing these designs, because if I do so, it might be more difficult or take more time. As we grow, okay? As we go and understand some basics, we grow to some advanced areas where the corrections might be a little more intense than this. For now, make these corrections and submit back your assignment in the group. Once again, my name is Manuel from Kata Studios. Do have a wonderful day.